There is a heaviness that only people who cannot say no understand. It is the calendar that looks like a battlefield, the inbox that never empties because you answer every request, the friendships that drain more than they give, the family obligations that suffocate your own needs, the promises you make with a smile while your stomach knots. You say yes because you are kind, because you are helpful, because you don't want to disappoint. But underneath every yes is a quieter no, a no to your own rest, a no to your own priorities, a no to your own soul. And that quieter no is the one that slowly destroys you. Modern culture has turned availability into a virtue. The person who answers at midnight is loyal. The person who shows up to everything is committed. The person who never says no is kind. But the Bible does not praise availability as a fruit of the Spirit. It praises love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Notice the last one, self-control, the ability to govern your own time, your own energy, your own limits. A person without boundaries is not more spiritual. They are more exhausted, and exhaustion is a terrible foundation for love. If you think Jesus said yes to everyone, you have not read the Gospels carefully. Jesus said no to Herod when he was demanded to perform. He said no to the crowds when they wanted to make him king by force. He said no to his own mother and brothers when they came looking for him during ministry. He said no to the disciple who wanted to bury his father before following. He said no to the rich young ruler, not because he did not care, but because the request was not aligned with the mission. Jesus had boundaries, and if the Son of God needed them, so do you. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 25 says, "The fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe." The fear of man is the engine behind people-pleasing. We say yes because we are afraid of being disliked, afraid of being excluded, afraid of being seen as selfish, afraid of the silence that follows a refusal. But every yes driven by fear becomes a chain. You are not serving people. You are managing their opinion of you. And that is not love. That is performance. That is the slow erosion of your own identity in exchange for temporary approval. When you say no to something misaligned, you are not being cruel. You are being honest. And honesty is a deeper form of love than compliance. A parent who never says no raises a child who cannot handle reality. A friend who never says no becomes a friend who quietly resents every favor. A leader who never says no eventually breaks and disappoints everyone at once. Boundaries are the fences that keep relationships healthy. Without them, intimacy becomes intrusion. Help becomes exhaustion. Presence becomes performance. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 5 says, "It is better not to make a vow than to make one and not fulfill it." This is the Bible warning against careless yes. Every yes is a vow of your time and energy. And when you break that vow because you overcommitted, you damage trust more than if you had said no in the first place. A delayed no is more painful than an immediate one. A resentful yes is more damaging than a gentle refusal. The biblical habit is this: count the cost before you commit. Then commit fully. Then protect that commitment with boundaries around everything else. Here is the practical part. You don't need a speech. You need a sentence. First, pause before answering. The person who demands an immediate answer is often the person who benefits from your impulsiveness. Second, separate the request from the relationship. Saying no to a task is not saying no to a person. Third, be brief. Long explanations invite negotiation. Fourth, offer what you can, not what you cannot. I cannot lead the project, but I can review the plan on Friday. Fifth, don't apologize for existing. You are allowed to have limits without justifying them. Your time is not community property. The hardest part of saying no is not the words. It is the silence that follows. The pause where the other person processes your refusal. The moment where you want to fill the gap with compromise, excuses, or a changed mind. Don't fill it. Let the silence exist. It is the sound of your boundary taking shape. And if the relationship cannot survive your no, then it was never built on mutual respect. It was built on your compliance. That is not friendship. That is extraction. You will feel guilty after saying no, not because you did something wrong, but because you broke an old pattern. Your nervous system has been trained to equate boundaries with danger. Every childhood message about being nice, every religious message about being available, every cultural message about being helpful has wired you to feel unsafe when you decline. But feeling unsafe is not the same as being unsafe. Guilt is the withdrawal symptom of people-pleasing. It passes, and the more you practice saying no, the quieter the guilt becomes. Galatians chapter 5, verse 1 says it is for freedom that Christ has set us free. Don't let yourselves be burdened again by a yoke of slavery. This applies to relational slavery too, the slavery of constant availability, the slavery of managing everyone's emotions, the slavery of being the person everyone calls because you never refuse. Christ died to set you free from that yoke, and freedom means having the right to say no without losing your place in the kingdom. You are not loved because you are useful. You are loved because you are His, and that love does not depend on your calendar.